Hi, my name is Tim Smitherman, and I'm pleased today to talk to you about how to revise in maths. There are three main things we're going to cover. The first is what students should actually be revising. Secondly, how revision should look. And lastly, the tools available to help with that preparation. In terms of what every student is working towards, it is the AQA 8300 GCSE Mathematics exam. Regardless of whether they're doing the higher or the foundation tier, they will do 3 exam papers. The first is non-calculator, the second and the third are calculator papers, and each of them are 80 marks long, and they have 1 hour and 30 minutes to do them. When it comes to revising, it's important they have the right equipment, both in the actual exam, but also even when they're preparing to make it easier to work with. It's important that students are using the Blue Book guides that they've been making during each of their math lessons, as it contains keynotes around all the topics they're doing and the preferred methods that will help them to achieve their best. Also, having a calculator and the rest of the equipment you can see in front of you is important to make sure that students can be writing things down and helping them to do things in the right way. In terms of the way that we actually try to prepare for things, things are best done in a way which is little and often. As the graph which you may have seen before shows on the left side, if students learn things perfectly to 100% level, that knowledge does ebb away over time. In fact, quite quickly when you first learnt it. But every time you review content, you make stronger connections in your brain, and therefore you keep a stronger level of retention of that knowledge. There's definitely times where students learn things perfectly and then don't study it again for a while and then can forget things, or actually it is still inside their brain, but they've just not revisited it often enough. So I'd really advise, whether you are someone who is early on during year 9 or year 10, maybe even close to the exams themselves, that you are doing things regularly, even without a test coming up, to help you to be the best you can be. In terms of revision, it should always be active. So what that means is, rather than just watching videos and sitting there passively, you are maybe watching a video, but you're also pausing it and you're trying questions. That engagement with the process involves a higher level of thinking and also means they can therefore achieve better outcomes. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the ways we can try and revise math, and also the kind of different strategies that are available to them. Now, to begin with, the idea of maths memory and 5-a-day quizzes can be really helpful. So maths memory is the idea of having key maths facts to build things around. Knowing, for example, what an inequality is, or understanding the difference between solving an equation or simplifying an expression. Understanding those key facts can allow you to then get things right, because you have a stronger level of understanding than just reading a question and not understanding what those key techniques might be. Now, we've prepared for you a number of booklets to help you with that, and many teachers may have already started or might be doing soon the ideas of implementing this during the lessons. But these booklets are available, and they are on the Fitzharris Revision website, and particularly on the math part of it, and that again has a range of tools there on particular topics. It also has links inside there which allows them to also check things and improve things if they weren't as strong as they thought. So building these habits, again, whether you are earlier on during your GCSEs or even coming toward the closing stages, is important because it allows you to work out where some of your gaps are. Now, in terms of finding gaps, there are also some other strategies that can be helpful. We've got the idea of having over here Corbett Maths 5 a day. Now, this is a website which is free to use and it contains a large number of PDF files. And the idea is that it has, for every single day of the year, 5 questions on each section you see in front of you. So 5 sections on numeracy, 5 questions on foundation, 5 foundation plus, 5 on higher, and 5 on higher plus. If you're doing the foundation tier, you would basically see those first 3 sections, numeracy, foundation, and foundation plus, as being the start, middle, and end of a foundation paper. If you're doing the higher tier, then the foundation plus will be that crossover material, the stuff that is the end of the foundation paper, but also the start of the higher paper. The middle part will be the higher, and the end of the paper is the higher plus. So trying to get into a routine of, again, each day trying some of these questions, which also allows you to be able to check if you're right as well, because the website also has answers. So the questions might not like these ones here. The answers are also, again, attached next to it, so you can see if you're right. Allows you to try a mixture of questions, but also work out if you have any gaps on certain areas. So whether you're doing things via maths memory or whether you're doing things via the Corbett Maths 5 a day, all these things are tools that will let you work out if you have certain gaps in certain sections. Of course, if you are still studying in year 9 or year 10, then it might be you haven't covered certain topics so far. But if you're in year 11, it's highly likely you've seen most of the content, and therefore, if you have any gaps, they are worth addressing. In terms of then addressing these things, if you know which topics you have certain gaps around, or perhaps you've not seen for a while, then it means you're able to specifically revise an exact topic. And there's a whole mixture on the board there of ways to revise it, whether it's MyMaths they've been using for years, or the Oak National Academy, or Seneca, or Maths Genie, or Corbett Maths, or On Maths. They're all really good tools where you can go into those resources and specifically find a topic that you're not sure about and get better at that process. Now, as all the things on the slide shows you there, we always talk about it being a thing where you want to spend maybe 30 minutes improving an actual topic and feeling confident when you finish it. So I'm going to show you one of those tools now. So if we look at the Corbett Maths option, that has a section called videos and worksheets. And in there, for every single topic you can think of, there will be a video, some practice questions, which are exam questions effectively, and also textbook things as well to help you to develop. So for example, if you found you had a weakness around the area of the circle, you can find that in the list. Often I find it helpful to press Control and F, which will allow you to find any words on that page. And you can type in area of circle or circle, and it will come up with that section. And you can then work specifically on what is needed to help you improve on your topics. You then might get to the stage, hopefully, where you're also practicing actual exam papers. So the key thing there is that you've got enough practice and confidence, you're close to the exams, to be able to try questions in full, understand where again you might have certain gaps. Now, Maths Genie has direct links to the actual AQA Path papers, which again can be really helpful to work from. We'd recommend strongly they are timing themselves to do the exam papers. You have extra time as well. And also then to be able to check if you are correct. Really vital that students can work on the actual real experience, especially getting close to the end of year 11, and see how that feels and find out if they've got some strong confidence or some areas to improve on, and we can go back on that cycle again and work on those topics. I also want to show you one other idea, which is the idea of On Maths. And On Maths is a website which again uses the ideas of papers, but importantly tries to break it down into ones that will give you immediate feedback. So rather than giving you mark schemes or examples of work solutions that you might have on some of the other things you've seen before, On Maths allows you to put in an answer and confirm if you're right or not, which again can be a really powerful tool. So this whole cycle, when you've got to this latter stage, is around then understanding which topics you are stronger on, which topics you're a bit weaker on, and developing those skills. And it should be a cycle of trying questions, understanding where some gaps are, improving those topics, trying more papers, and that being quite cyclical to allow you to improve regardless of where your skills are. The last thing that I want to mention is the importance of resilience, both in your revision and also in terms of the exam itself. One of the things which is frustrating with maths is that if you feel you can't do a topic, that can be quite demoralizing. But regardless of whether you're in the exam itself or you're preparing beforehand, if you find something that you can't do, you can still spring back from that and improve your skills. If it's during the exam itself, then you might find a question which you really can't do, and you might say, okay, I'm going to circle that one. I'm going to come back to it later. I've had more time to process it. If it's during your preparation time, use that as a tool and say, I don't currently understand this topic. Let's fix that and build my understanding. Best of luck, whether you are a student working hard towards your exams or whether you're a parent supporting it. And I hope all goes as well as it should. Thank you so much.